Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sujaya, Assistant Professor, AG Institute of Engineering and Technology. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss about dielectric materials. It is the part 3 of the module 5. Dielectric materials are insulators which plays an important role in all engineering fields. Let us discuss about fundamentals of dielectrics, polarization and the relation between dielectric constant and polarization, polar and nonpolar dielectrics, types of polarization, definition of internal field in the case of solids. Under that, expression for one-dimensional case, expression for the internal field for the three-dimensional case, and Lorentz field, and the derivation of Clausius-Mosotty equation. Applications of dielectrics in transformers, numerical problems. What are dielectric materials? Dielectrics is an electrically non-conducting material which provides electric insulation to the conductors which are at different potentials and also serves as a electric charge storage aid under certain circumstances. It is a electrically non-conducting material because there is no free electrons and all the electrons are tightly bound to the nucleus. When the electrically non-conducting material, when it is used for insulation purpose, it is referred as insulators. If it is used to store charge, then its name dielectrics remains. The some examples for dielectrics: ceramics, glass, wood, rubber, mica, which are all under solid dielectrics. There are liquid dielectrics also: Vaseline, silicon oil, mineral insulating oils, etc. The gaseous dielectrics are air, nitrogen, sulfur hexafluoride, inert gases. So in the diagram, there are some dielectric materials. This is gas dielectric. Gas dielectrics, it is used in different purposes, and rubber dielectric sheet, and these are the ceramic dielectric materials. They are used in many machinery parts and electronic devices, and these are the mica dielectrics and plastic materials used as a case of some electronic devices, and most importantly the charge storage device, capacitor. It uses the dielectric material to store the charges in between the conducting plates. The properties of dielectrics are: it has got very high resistivity to the leakage current, that is unwanted current. It is very low in dielectric materials. It has got very high dielectric strength, and mechanical strength of the dielectric materials are very good. It is very brittle also, and it has got high resistance to fire, uh, low thermal expansion, and dielectric loss is very less, and it has got very low absorption, water absorption quality, and it shows high chemical inertness. That means corrosion resistance of the material is very high. Before discussing in details about the dielectrics, we will discuss about some of the terminologies of the dielectric materials. Dielectrics are the materials having electric dipole moment permanently. What is this dipole? If in an entity, if equal and opposite charges are separated by a small distance, then it is called the dipole. If positive and negative charges, if it is separated by a small distance, then we can call this as a dipole. Dipole moment, it is the product of charge into separation between the charges. Suppose if we take two charges, plus q and minus q, that is negative charge and positive charge, which is separated by a distance r, then dipole moment is a charge q into distance r. Electric polarization. The process of producing dipoles by an applying electric field is called the electric polarization in dielectrics. By applying electric field, we can produce the dipoles, that is called the electric polarization. Polarizability. The induced dipole moment per unit field, electric field, is called the polarizability. Okay. Induced dipole moment is proportional to the intensity of the electric field because dipole moment is produced by the application of electric field. So it depends on the applied electric field. So dipole moment, usually it is represented with the symbol mu, which is proportional to the applied field E. That proportionality constant is replaced with alpha. It is called the polarizability constant. The relation between electric flux density, that means charge per unit area at a point in a material, and the electric field strength E at a point in a space is given by D is equal to epsilon r epsilon naught E, where epsilon r is the relative dielectric constant or permittivity of the material. Epsilon naught is the dielectric constant or permittivity of the free space. E is the applied electric field. When an electric field is applied to a solid containing a positive and negative charges, the positive charges are displaced in the direction of the field towards the negative end, while the negative charges are displaced in the opposite direction. This displacement produces local dipoles throughout the solid. The dipole moment per unit volume of the solid is the sum of all the individual dipole moments within that volume, and it is called the polarization P of the solid. As the polarization measures the additional flux density arising from the presence of the material as compared to the free space, it has the same unit as D, and it is related with the equation D is equal to epsilon naught E plus P. P is the polarization, E is the applied electric field, and epsilon naught is the dielectric constant. Rearranging this equation, P is equal to D minus epsilon naught E. So substituting the value of D as epsilon naught epsilon E, sorry, D as epsilon r epsilon naught E, P is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 into E. There are two types of dielectrics. One is polar dielectrics and non-polar dielectrics. In the molecules or atoms, some of the dielectric materials, the effective centers of the negative charge distribution coincides with the effective centers of the positive charge. So, net effect will be neutralized. Such materials are called non-polar dielectric materials. Why material shows non-polar dielectrics? Because of its symmetric structure. The examples for non-polar dielectrics: oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, benzene, methane, etc. And there are some dielectric materials, they are called polar dielectric materials, in which the effective centers of the negative and positive charges will not coincide. Such material possesses a permanent dipoles, so they are called polar dielectrics. So in non-polar dielectrics, polarization can be induced by applying electric field. In polar dielectrics, as if they have a permanent dipoles, but due to the orientation, the net effect will be zero. By applying electric field, we can produce polarization. The example for polar dielectrics: N2O, H2O, HCl, ammonia, etc. There are Various types of polarizations that is taking place by different processes. One is electronic polarization, ionic polarization, and orientation polarization. Electronic polarization. The electronic polarization occurs due to the displacement of positive and negative charges in a dielectric material by the application of electric field. The separation created between the charges leads to the development of dipole moment. This process occurs throughout the material. The material as a whole gets polarized. So in the diagram here, in the diagram, the center positive charge is surrounded by the negative charge. The center of the negative charges will be coincide with the positive charge. So net effect is 0. By applying electric field, the positive charges will displace away from the negative charges. So now there is net negative charges the center of the negative charges will not coincide with the positive charge. So positive and negative charges are separated. So it is called dipoles. So this type of polarization takes place by the movement of electrons. The electronic polarizability of the rare gas atoms is given by alpha E. Electronic polarizability is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 divided by n, where n is the number of atoms per unit volume. The next type is ionic polarization. Ionic polarization occurs only in those dielectric materials which possesses ionic bonds such as NaCl, KCl, HCl. When ionic solids are subjected to an external electric field, the adjacent ions opposite sign undergo displacement. The displacement causes an increase or decrease in the distance of separation between the atoms depending upon the location of the ion pore in the lattice. So this is the lattice of positive and negative ions. By the application of electric field, these ions are displaced, resulting in the creation of ionic dipoles. So ionic sorry, ionic polarizability is given by alpha I is equal to E square divided by omega naught square into 1 by m plus 1 by capital M, where E is the magnitude of the charge, omega naught is the angular frequency, and small letter m is the mass of the cation, and capital letter M is the mass of the anion. So this ionic polarization usually occurs in the frequency range of infrared rays, that is in the order of 10 to the power 13 Hertz, and electronic polarization occurs in the optical frequency range 10 to the power 14 Hertz. And the third type is orientation polarization. Orientation polarization occurs in the dielectric materials, whether liquid or solid, which possesses the molecules with permanent dipoles. That means polar dielectric materials. The orientation of these molecules will be random due to the thermal agitation. Because of randomness in the orientation, the molecule has a net dipole moment. Because of the randomness in the orientation, the material has net zero dipole moment. Under the influence of applied electric field, each of the dipoles undergo rotation so as to orient along the direction of the field, because of which overall cancellation of the dipole moments due to the randomness does not hold good anymore. Thus, the material itself develops a polarization. This orientation polarization is dependent on the temperature. So, orientation polarization alpha naught is given by mu square divided by 3 kT. Mu is the dipole moment, K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature. So, out of 3, orientation polarization is temperature dependent, and others 2 that is electronic polarization and ionic polarizations are independent of temperature. Next, we will find the expression for the internal field. When a dielectric material, either it is a solid or liquid, when it is subjected to an external electric field, each of the atoms develop a dipole moment and acts as an electric dipole. The resultant field at any given atom will be the sum of the applied electric field and the electric field due to the surrounding dipoles. Suppose if we are measuring the dipole moment here, or if we are measuring the electric field, so the electric field that is due to the applied field and the field due to the surrounding atoms or neighboring atoms. So the total electric field at any point is the field due to the applied field and the field due to the surrounding atoms or molecules. So here we are considering the array of atoms, so it is due to the atoms. So the internal field or the local field, it is also called, is the electric field that acts as a site of any given atom of the solid or a liquid dielectric subjected to external electric field. So it is defined as the resultant of the applied field and the field due to the all the surrounding dipoles. So the internal field at the site of an atom is given by E plus EI represents the internal field is equal to E plus, that is the applied field, plus 1.2 mu by pi epsilon naught d cube. Mu is the dipole moment, epsilon naught is the dielectric constant, d is the separation between the atoms. So this term arises due to the surrounding atomic dipoles. If alpha is the electronic polarizability of the atoms, then we can write mu is equal to alpha E EI. So substituting mu in the in this equation, substituting for mu in this equation as alpha E EI. So EI is equal to E plus 1.2 alpha E EI divided by pi epsilon naught d cube. In three-dimensional case, the general equation for the internal field is expressed as E plus gamma p by epsilon. So this gamma is called the internal field constant. This gamma is called the internal field constant, and P is the polarization. In the three-dimensional case, if we take the cubic lattice, then it can be shown that gamma, that is internal field constant, is equal to 1 by 3, in which event the internal field is named as Lorentz field, and E Lorentz is equal to E plus P by 3 epsilon naught, because gamma is equal to 1 by 3. So this equation is called the Lorentz equation, that is for the three-dimensional case. This equation is most important results follows in the next relation, that is in the Clausius-Mosotto equation. Clausius-Mosotto equation, which gives the relation between the electronic polarizability and the dielectric constant, relative dielectric constant. So to derive the Clausius-Mosotto equation, we'll consider an elemental solid dielectric material of dielectric constant epsilon r. If n is the number of atoms per unit volume of the material and mu is the atomic dipole moment, then we can dipole moment per unit volume is equal to n into mu. The field experienced by the atom is the internal field. When we apply the electric field, the field experienced by the material is the sum of the applied field and the field due to the neighboring atoms. So internal, the total field experienced by the internal field. So hence alpha E, if alpha E is the electronic polarizability of the atom, we can write the equation 1, that is dipole moment per unit volume, as mu is equal to alpha E EI. So dipole moment per unit volume is N alpha E EI. Mu is replaced with alpha E EI, dipole moment. We know that dipole moment per unit volume is the polarization P. So polarization P is equal to N alpha E EI. Call this as equation 3. So from the equation 3, EI is equal to P by N alpha E, where polarization, we know that from the previous equation, polarization P is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 into E. So rewriting the equation 5, E electric field E is equal to P divided by epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1. Continuing with that, for the three-dimensional lattice, internal field is given by EI is equal to E plus gamma P by epsilon naught, where gamma is the internal field constant, P is the polarization. Substituting for P and EI from equation 4 and 5, the equation 4, that is EI is equal to P by N alpha E, and 6 is E is equal to P divided by epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1. The equation becomes, this equation becomes P by N alpha E, that is EI, which is equal to P by epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1, that is the field E, then gamma P by epsilon naught. Okay. Considering the internal field in the material to be Lorentz field, so gamma is 1 by 3. So the field we are considering is the Lorentz field. So gamma is 1 by 3. Substituting for gamma as 1 by 3, the equation becomes P divided by N alpha E is equal to P divided by epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 plus sorry, P divided by 3 epsilon naught. So P is common in all the terms. So removing that, 1 by N alpha E is equal to 1 by epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1 plus 1 by 3 epsilon naught. So rearranging this and taking this as a least common denominator. So 3 epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1 becomes in the denominator 3 plus epsilon r minus 1, and simplifying we will get N alpha E divided by 3 epsilon naught equal to epsilon r minus 1 divided by epsilon r plus 2. This equation gives the relation between the relative dielectric constant epsilon r and polarizability, electronic polarizability alpha E. So this equation is called the Clausius-Mossetti equation. It is one of the important equation in dielectrics. Next, we will move on to different types of dielectric materials, that is solid, liquid and gaseous dielectrics. Solid dielectrics. Solid insulating materials are available extremely in wide variety: mica, porcelain glass, fiber glass reinforced with plastics, epoxy, resins, polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride, natural and synthetic rubber, mica. All these are the example for solid dielectric materials. Even paper is also a example for dielectric material. We know that the paper absorbs the moisture, so paper is a hygroscopic, hence it is dried and soaked with the mineral oil or vegetable oil. So high density papers are preferred in DC and energy storage capacitors. Liquid dielectrics. Mainly liquid insulating materials are used in transformers, switches, circuit breakers, etc. During the working condition, the winding in the electrical devices gets heated due to both eddy current heating and Joule heating, or eddy heating and Joule heating. The liquid insulators allow the windings to cool faster by conveying the heat efficiently to the surroundings. Some of the liquid dielectrics are silicon fluids, transformer oil, it's a type of mineral oil, viscous Vaseline, polyisobutylene, purified water, liquid nitrogen, all comes under liquid dielectrics. The third important dielectrics are gaseous dielectrics. These gases are good insulators, we know, and work well as heat transforming medium. Under the insulator gases category falls air, nitrogen, inert gas, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, sulfur hexafluoride, vacuum, all comes under gaseous dielectrics. It is a general observation that air provides insulation between the overhead transmission power lines without any cost. In plenty of use, it is present as a part of electric devices, whether we plan it or to be there or not. This gaseous dielectric always protects the from overheating. The last point, that is the application of dielectrics in transformers. Transformer, we know that transformer consists of two insulated conducting coils, primary coil and secondary coils, which are wound on a core. The core is an insulated, the core is also insulated. In case of high voltage transformers, further insulation is required to be provided between the individual windings in the coils and also between the core and the coils. Hence, their size grows. The size of the transformer increases also with the operational AC frequency. The insulation is provided by using paper or mica or cloth. The paper is impregnated with varnish or wax to fill the air gaps. If there are air gaps, then since the permittivity of air is less, ionization of air occurs at high voltage, leading to excessive heating which damage the insulation. This effect is called corona. Mica is used to guard against corona. However, when the operating voltage is crosses something around 3 kilovolt, a kind of oil called transformer oil is used. It is based on mineral oil. Apart from guarding against corona up to 100 kilovolt, the oil helps to keep the transformer cool. It remains stable at high temperature also. However, for large size transformers that are used in high voltage transmission lines, cooling by water circulation around the body of the transformer is provided. So this is the one of the important application of the liquid dielectrics in transformers. We'll solve some numerical problems under dielectrics. The first problem, find the polarization produced in a crystal by electric field or strength 500 volt per meter if it has a dielectric constant of 6. Okay, the data are E is equal to 500 volt per millimeter. We will convert it into volt per meter. So it is 500 into 10 to the power 3 volt per meter. Dielectric constant, relative dielectric constant, it is given, it is 6. Epsilon naught, it is permittivity of the free space, 8.8 or dielectric constant, 8.8 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad per meter. So what is polarization? So polarization equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r minus 1 into E is the applied field. So substituting these values, we will get polarization as 2.21 into 10 to the power minus 5 coulomb per meter square. Next problem, which relates electronic polarizability and relative dielectric constant. The electronic polarization of krypton gas is 3.54 into 10 to the power minus 40 farad meter square. If the gas contains 2.7 into 10 to the power 25 per meter cube atoms at NTP, then calculate dielectric constant, that is relative dielectric constant. So in the problem, the electronic polarizability alpha E is given. It is 3.54 into 10 to the power minus 40 farad per farad meter square. Number density, that is N, of atoms in the krypton is 2.7 into 10 to the power 25. The formula N alpha E is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1. Rearranging the equation, epsilon r is equal to n alpha e by epsilon naught plus 1. We will get epsilon r as 1.0018. Third problem, using Cauchy-Moussetti equation. An, an elemental solid dielectric material has polarizability 7 into 10 to the power minus 40 farad meter square. Assuming the internal field to be Lorentz field, calculate the dielectric constant for the material if the material has 3 into 10 to the power 28 atoms per meter cube. Okay. So in the problem, alpha E electronic polarizability is given. It is 7 into 10 to the power minus 40 and number of atoms is given 3 into 10 to the power 28. So what is relative dielectric constant epsilon r? So using Cauchy-Moussetti equation, n alpha E divided by 3 epsilon naught equal to epsilon r minus 1 divided by epsilon r plus 2. So you get 12.33. Okay, the last type of problem. The dielectric constant of sulfur is given. It is 3.4. Assuming cubic lattice for its structure, the structure is cubic structure. Calculate the electronic polarizability of sulfur. Given for the sulfur, the density 2.07 gram per cc and atomic weight 32.07. So we have to find out electronic polarizability, but relative dielectric constant 3.4 is given. Epsilon naught is a known value, but we have to find out n. N is not given, but the value of density and atomic weight is given. So when the density and atomic weight is known, then we can calculate the number of atoms by the equation. N is equal to number of free atoms per atom, free electrons per atom into n, that is the Avogadro number into d, that is the density, divided by atomic weight. So number of free electrons 1, Avogadro number 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 into 2.07 into 10 to the power 3 conversion factor divided by atomic weight. So we will get 3.89 into 10 to the power 28 per meter cube. Substituting the n value, sorry, it should be capital letter N. So substituting n value, we will get 3 epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1 n into epsilon r plus 2. So it is 3.0357 into the power minus 40 farad meter square. So I'll give some of the assignment questions under module 5. So first question is from first part, that is electrical conductivity of metals. Discuss the dependence of Fermi factor on temperature and energy. So you have to write how the Fermi factor varies with temperature and also how the energy varies with temperature by using the Fermi factor. The relation for Fermi factor f of E is equal to 1 divided by e to the power E minus Ef by kT plus 1. With that relation, we have to find the variation with temperature. Second expression, under semiconductors, electrical conductivity of semiconductors, obtain an expression for electrical conductivity in semiconductors by choosing a semiconducting material of length L, area of cross section A, under the applied electric field E. You have to derive the relation for electrical conductivity sigma I in terms of in case of intrinsic semiconductor. One more point, in intrinsic semiconductor, number of holes equal to number of electrons. So Ne equal to Nh. The third, explain different types of polarization, that is electronic polarization, ionic polarization and orientation polarization. And there are three numerical problems. The first problem is from electrical conductivity of metals. The resistivity of intrinsic germanium at 27 degree Celsius or 300 Kelvin is equal to 0.470 ohm meter, assuming the electron and hole mobilities as 0.385 meter square per volt second and 0.175 meter square per volt second respectively. Calculate the intrinsic carrier density. So this is from the part 2 semiconductors. From the part 1, that is from conductors, electrical properties of metals or conductors. Calculate the Fermi velocity and mean free path for the conduction electrons in copper, given that the Fermi energy is 7 electron volt and the relaxation time for the electrons is 3.838 into 10 to the power minus 14 second. 14 second. So Fermi energy is given. You have to find out Fermi velocity and mean free path. Fermi energy EF is equal to square root of Vf divided by 2m. That relation you have to find out the Fermi velocity, and velocity and mean free path are related. Velocity equal to distance by time. So distance is the mean free path. Time, anyway you will get it. Sorry, time you have to find out. Time it is given, that is relaxation time is given. So you have to find out mean free path. The last problem, an elemental solid dielectric material has a polarizability 3.28 into 10 to the power minus 40 farad per meter square. Assuming the internal field to be Lorentz field, calculate the dielectric constant for the material if the material has 3.89 into 10 to the power 28 atoms per meter cube. Okay, thank you.